He may seem like the kindest, most trustworthy person in existence, but I assure you, he is an absolutely unhinged psychopath abomination that is incapable of feeling emotion. He's the kind of guy who would boil a baby alive in front of its mother for no reason at all. Welcome to the Twisted Pint Tavern. Today we're visiting our YouTube comments for the part 2 of D&D Players, What Are Your Best Villains? Once again, we are so thankful to have a participating comment section, and we're very close to making the first video from our Discord story submissions channel. Make sure to join if you want to be featured, link in the description. Now onto the stories. A villain that I am currently in the late stages of planning is actually the MacGuffin for my party's current arc. For context, he's a Necromancer who is on the verge of resurrection. But the party and my old character, who's the Adventurers Guild Master, stopped it. Now they're sailing across the world and attempting to stop it. What they most recently encountered was a burst of necromantic magic from the phylactery that caused a skeleton ship to rise from the grave. This will occur every few sessions in between their regular adventures of sailing, and will even occur on land when they start that stint of the journey. Potential plans for them to have to fight an avatar of the Necromancer when they finally toss the phylactery into the forge at the settlement they're traveling to. Look, you had me at Skeleton Ship. I'm running a pirate game, you got my attention. I'm the DM for a game that's been running for a few months now. So basically, in the party there's this one particular character called Dhark. Dhark is an NPC that the players met in a dungeon, and he's been with them since that time. He's a really good friend, always welcoming, nice to talk to, a good listener, funny, and extremely reliable. He also happens to be an ancient eldritch elder god. You see, Dhark was bored, extremely bored, so bored in fact that he decided to take on a mortal form so he could play in the material realm. He wandered for a long time before meeting the party, and went with them because he had nothing better to do. Now here's something you should know about Dhark. He may seem like the kindest, most trustworthy person in existence, but I assure you, he is an absolutely unhinged psychopath abomination that is incapable of feeling emotion. He's the kind of guy who would boil a baby alive in front of its mother for no reason at all. Okay, Jesus. All the other members of the party are completely oblivious to this, however, so they think he's the best person alive. Things in the party were normal for a time. They won fights, got treasure, uncovered ancient forgotten secrets, and were on their way to becoming the greatest adventurers of all time. That was until one of the party members died. Everybody was grief-struck that their dear friend died. Everyone except Dhark. And while everyone was crying and sad, he was the only one laughing. Dhark was laughing so hard that he curled up into a ball on the floor. The other members of the party were understandably angry that Dhark was laughing at their friend's death, so they questioned him, and Dhark reveals that he honestly didn't mean to kill anyone, he just overestimated her strength. Shit hits the fan in a heartbeat as the other members of the party try to kill Dhark, and he just proceeds to completely obliterate them. After killing everyone in the party, Dhark gets bored again and decides to destroy the world and recreate reality so that he can continue playing with his favorite mortals. Everybody comes back to life, but this time they all have slightly different backstories. Please note, Dhark could have recreated everything the exact same, but he didn't. Why? Because Dhark wanted to disrespect their reason to adventure. Before, one of the party members became an adventurer to look for his father who killed his mother when he was a child. Now, he looks for his mother who killed his father. Dhark only did this to prove that their reason to do anything, whether that be love, vengeance, or something else, means absolutely nothing to him. That he could just change their lives and they wouldn't even care because they wouldn't even know. To prove to them, their lives mean nothing. Now this kept happening a lot. Every single time any member of the party died, Dhark would destroy everything and recreate reality. This happened so much that other beings like Dhark started to take notice. Now the plot of the campaign is that the gods have all fled to a place unknown to everyone in fear that the ancient eldritch elder gods are coming to the material plane, and the party has been tasked with finding out where the gods are hiding and why the ancients are coming in the first place. Not knowing, it's because of a member in their party. This was a long one, but my god is it a good story. I mean, we'd be committing a crime not putting it in. This character building, the backstory to Dhark, all of that, how he plays with the characters, I love that so much. Quick pause, did you notice the Mimic? Yeah, Waldore the Tavern Mimic. April is the month of Easter, and we decided to do our own Easter egg hunt, called Where's Waldore? Waldore normally hangs out in the ale room to stop thieves, but he started to wander around and I need some adventurers to help me find him. Throughout the month of April, each video will have Waldore hidden somewhere in the video, barely visible and only for a short period of time. If you find him, hop in the comments and let me know. In addition, if you're in the Twisted Pint Tavern Discord server, screenshot Waldore and put him in the Where's Waldore chat. This example doesn't count. The first person to do this with each video will get a point, and the 3 adventurers with the most points will receive a unique Discord role, Mimic Hunter. This role will only be available as a reward for this challenge, so don't delay, go find Waldore. Oh, and yes, you've already missed him for this video. That's your only hint? Good luck. While not a villain per se, my players encountered a very interesting antagonist in the city of Athkatla in Amun. After hearing about the story of Lord Delrin damaging his family's honor by stealing a legendary artifact from an Emerald Enclave ranger and losing the item when he reclaimed it in a duel, the players learned that he collects magic items. They got the idea to perform a heist and steal the family's shield of missile snaring, and then stage the theft as though the same ranger stole from him. The heist did not go as planned, to say the least. To describe it in terms of soundtracks, it started off as the Mission Impossible theme, progressed to the Pink Panther theme, then devolved into the Benny Hill theme. One of the players is captured and then persuaded in his cellar while tied up to rescue his daughter's puppy after it was stolen from her. He promises that if he's successful, he'll call off the shadow thieves that will be tracking them down. Unbeknownst to them, the puppy is actually a gray render that was taken to an illegal animal fighting ring. I had a lot of fun role-playing Lord Delrin as a smart, calculated, but very arrogant and devious, almost villainous noble. I tell you, the best villains are usually the smart ones. You can have people who are evil, or maybe less intelligent, but the feeling of thoroughly being duped by the villain, it's just satisfying despite being negative, and that can't be beat. This was a cool villain that I planned to be a one-off, but was enhanced by one of my players' interactions. Anontana was its name. Anontana was a giant sea serpent who was worshipped by a cult who dwelt in a lighthouse. The lighthouse had been cleared out by some other adventurers and was now being used as a base of research for several wizards trying to invent new water-based spells. When the party came across it, they discovered that it was abandoned. They split up, always a bright idea, right? And the wizard and sorcerer found a journal by one of the spellcasters who'd previously dwelt there. It described as they all went mad one by one after discovering and studying this eldritch underwater being, and how they ended up killing each other. The last remaining one hid while the others fought, but felt himself called to the sea, presumably devoured by the beast. The journal ended there, and both PCs felt a strange presence touch their minds. They ran to the window and peered out, seeing 2 glowing lights emanating from the depths. The wizard decided to try to contact the force she could feel inside her head, and when they leveled up after the session, she worked out with me about gaining a level in Warlock. Cool, I love the roleplay level ups, it's so cool. We went Great Old One for the telepathy, and there was a lot of fun RP as Anontana's alien mind collided with the wizards, while the rest of the party wondered where these strange powers were coming from. Always love a cooperative party who RPs right. The players were in the know about the Warlock multiclass, but their characters, they kept in the dark. See, this is how the table should react when your character makes a deal with a dark entity. If you watched the last video that I made, you know why I'm bringing this up, but basically, a bunch of players kicked someone out because they did the same thing. Anyway, all was not as it seemed, and Anontana used them to fight and weaken enemies for it to take over. A final fight was held on the edge of a beach, as Anontana took control of a war cube from Acheron. Acheron? Acheron. Acheron. It was a fight to the death, and the wizard actually decided to go through with losing their character. Blinded by the power of her patron, she allowed herself to be destroyed by the monster, who gained a boost in power. The team only survived by using some connections to a green dragon they'd met much earlier in the campaign, another favorite villain of mine, but that's a story for another time, to swoop in and save them at the last second by calling a Tarask from under the island. It was an epic conclusion to a campaign arc I never imagined would happen, especially with the cleric, who'd mentored the wizard being completely emotionally shattered by her death. Lots of fun with the players. Couldn't have asked for a better campaign direction. Always best when the players understand their characters and the world well enough to make choices that take the initiative in the campaign. Pun intended. I am definitely a fan of that story. I think that villain's fantastic and the way it went, beautiful. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and thank you to all the commenters who submitted their stories. I obviously can't fit them all into a video, but there's so many good ones in this thread, we'll probably do a part 3 from this. So if you want to get in on that, make sure to leave your stories in the comments here or join the Discord and submit them there. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and click the bell, and don't forget, Waldore's hanging out somewhere around here. Last I saw him, I think he was a mug.